to another episode of Ofacez. This is your host, Mr. Mocha. I'm on with my man Demetri from, that nice velvety curtain. Tonight we're gonna have a lot of fun. It's been a minute since we got together and just have a talk, from the perspective of the fellas. We got couple good topics today. The first topic is communication. And we're talking about communication between the bull and the couples and the bulls, the couples and the husband. We are trying to make sure that we cover a whole lot. And then we have another good topic. And, Demetri had told me to go easy how I phrase this. So one of the fellas had a comment about having sex with one of the with women, and you find that it's not as exciting as you would want it to be. So, without further ado, Demetri, welcome. You there, D?
Just 1 second.
All right. And I know we're going to have a few people getting some requests. We're going to get everybody in a second. First thing I want to do is let Demetri get on and get comfortable. And then we'll start fielding some questions and comments. Now, before we get started, once I let you guys in, make sure when you're not talking, you mute your mics. That way you're not listening to everybody breathe or, cook in the background or, the porn that you watch in the back or whatever it is. So D, I'm gonna have to let you start to get this thing going.
Okay, bear with me again because, like I said, my Bluetooth keep going out. But I had can you hear me well?
Yeah, I hear you good. You sound good.
Okay, I had a brief conversion with one of our fellow bulls, and he brought the subject up to me, and I was like, that's great, that's cool, but I don't want it to come out too disrespectful. And I say, how about we put it to where it's communication and miscommunication that's leading to bad sex instead of just sex game is trash. Because as you and I discussed it prior and earlier in our multiple discussions, a bull plays a big responsibility in that dynamic as well because it's two people engaging.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't pretty much judge your playmate and don't include yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So I was super big on, take the blame for it as well.
So just to kind of open it up, I know we first the comment what we spoke about earlier was, have you ever been with a woman and you just feel like the sex is bad and what makes it bad? I know I can say that I've been with women who I feel like the sex is not remarkable. It's not something that I say to myself, oh man, I want to get back to her. As a matter of fact, it's easier for me to think of women who I've had sex with that it's like, oh man, I want to do that again, than it is for me to say, like, you just got to think, how many sexual partners in a lifestyle have you forgotten about playing with? So, but then you look back and go, man, there were a lot of, you can name that small group of women who you're like, holy shit, that was a good time. And the question is, why is that?
You would think it'd be the communication, right?
I don't know. I mean, I think sexual community, I think communication plays a role in it. To me, I think there's a lot of different aspects that lead to good sex, and seeing as how now so let me separate first. When I think about communication, a lot of the challenges that we have with communication and lifestyle, I think that is, we have those communications with, couples and, wives or husbands when you're talking to them, trying to get the thing going. But the actual sex itself, I think that one of the things that I found that's made sex unremarkable is that I've encountered a lot of women in the lifestyle who, when they first meet you, it's the lifestyle. So oftentimes you're at a party or you're somewhere and sex is not something that you've cultivated over 6-7 months. Is, hey, we're at a party, let's have sex. And you still have partners, you still have a lot of women who are really concerned with going all out. They don't want you to think that they're a slut. And it's like, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a woman to get in bed with me and try to be as sexually impressive as I'm trying to be with her. But I do feel like a lot of women are concerned with how they're going to look if they get in the bed and go wild, and in this lifestyle and in this environment, unfortunately, that's counterproductive, because I've spoken to a lot of women who are like, for some reason, it's so hard for me, I'll play with a guy and he doesn't necessarily want to play with me again. And I've had women who I've played with and who confide in me say that. And it's hard to say, well, it's nice that I got a nut, but when you get into bed with me, I'm trying to fuck like a porn star. I mean, and you just, think about that. Think about, the conversations that we've had, between ourselves. I have a running joke with Bishop, who's on, about how he fucks when we're at Splash or we're at any event. We have a running joke like, look, man, don't go in there and do that bullshit, because now I got to come and fuck after you. Like, that's how we talk. When me and you talk, remember last Splash when I had a woman come to me and say, hey, can you recommend guys for me to play with? I told her about you. I told her about Bishop, and I told her about a couple of the other fellas, because the problem is I don't want to be put in a situation where I set her up with some guy who's sexually unremarkable. Yet a lot of the females who I've played with, they come into the bedroom worried about, oh my God, I don't want to go in too hard. I don't want to be too sexually impressive. And when not impressive, I don't want to be a slut. And it's like, no, that's not what I'm thinking.
We want you to be one.
Yeah. Yeah, I need you to go wild in here.
You're right. I have this ongoing joke about Bishop as well. I say, man, that brother fucked like he committing a crime. I'm gonna have to burn this brother out of jail.
Yeah, that is so true.
Yeah, everybody keep forgetting, like, that good guy image he got going on. Shit. Put him behind closed doors. Hell, you don't need him behind closed doors.
Yeah.
That brother's gonna commit a crime.
And that's, I think with women in a lifestyle, if that's the attitude they have when they come to you, when they come into the bedroom and they're trying to give you as much energy as they possibly can, fuck me like a porn star. Because when you see a guy at a party or someone you've been talking to on the website, you form a mental image of what the sex is going to be. And if I show up and you've had this conversation with me and then I get you into the bedroom and you're just like laying there and you're not really actively participating and you're obviously holding back, why am I going to want to do this again? Or why are you going to, how do you get to the top of my list? We are in a lifestyle, which means that we have we always have multiple people on our phone who we can go, man, I want a good play date. Am I going to choose the person who just kind of laid there, or am I going to choose the one that made me leave like, God damn, she's trying to kill me? I'm going for the wild animal personally.
Well, of course, shit. Hey, I don't mind waking up and seeing a scratch on my forehead or my side, my waist. Shit. I'm going to bang and scratch her ass back, Again, it's like, I want you to be completely comfortable and free to be as completely comfortable as you are and can be, and knowing that it's okay just to let go. That's my biggest thing about why I always say I like to take my time and before I fuck somebody, because I want them to know and build on my character. Let them know that, hey, just go all out. It's completely comfortable. We have learned to be free. We befriend each other, and the comfort is there. So if you're going to fucking start sucking my dick and all this shit, you better know I got a set of balls to go with it, and I'm trying to fuck up your makeup. I want to see your snotty nose. I want to see your teary eye. That's the impressive shit. And bro, think about it. What I always say, Mr. Mo, what I always say, I grab a bite by the throat and say, make me proud.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's go hard.
Yeah. So can I ask something?
Uh-oh.
That's the way.
What if the woman is basically the woman's just never met guys like you, so they don't know how to do that? So does that mean that ultimately they're off your playlist because they've never dealt with the type of males that you guys are, so they don't necessarily know what to do or how far they can go, because they may be in lifestyle, but we were in lifestyle a lot of years before I could let myself completely go with anybody.
Well, can I answer that? Can I chime in real quick?
Dive in.
Hold on one second. I want to answer her, and I want to use her as an example, and then I'm going to let you chime in.
All right, that's cool.
So I'm going to use you as an example. Think about when we first met. We had the open door range to play, but we barely knew each other. Think about the time it took between us to learn each other and be completely comfortable. And when we finally got to it, we didn't hold back. You didn't hold back. I didn't hold back. We had a minor hiccup that stopped it earlier, but we didn't hold back. So it's all about the comfort and the confidence and the communication between each other. The communication we had, we also comprehend. So that's what makes it better. Don't go in with assumptions. Ask, be open-minded, be free with your questions. Ask away.
I agree but disagree.
How?
I agree with what you're saying, but I disagree because I have Mr. Mocha that encourages me to be that way. But if I were in a different relationship where the guy hadn't encouraged me to be that way in any way, shape, or form, I don't know that I could go into it.
Now, keep in mind that's one of the other reasons that we know women tend to be timid in the lifestyle is because they don't have a secure mate. So you're touching on something that we're definitely going to touch on to, but we're talking about the women who've been in the lifestyle and who have permission to let go, but they don't. Those are the ones I'm talking about. And now here's the thing. If you don't know how, as the guy, that's where Demetri said earlier. Now, the guy does have to take responsibility. If I walk into a room with a woman who I can tell has the potential to be sexually open, but that hasn't been unlocked yet, you damn straight. It's my job to unlock that. But it's different to me when someone is fighting the desire or she's holding back because she doesn't want to appear a certain way. To me, those are two totally different things. But what you said, those are two other topics, either a woman who's never had the opportunity to let go and doesn't know how, or a woman who's with a guy who doesn't give them the opportunity to let go, because we've been in those situations many a time where you're fucking this lady and she starts to let go, and then she looks up and her husband is looking like he's about to throw up, and then she pulls back. So that's also a topic. I'm sorry for jumping in front of you.
No, you have to answer it for me because I just was leaning toward that myself.
Yep. And what's your name? BBC? What is that? BBC Jen? I can't. That's the only part I can read.
Nah, it's BBC Gentleman. Nah, but it's Chris though.
What's up, Chris?
Yeah.
Welcome.
Hey, what's going on, man? Hey, so I was just gonna say, I'm a big person on like reading people, and I know in the lifestyle at parties, if it's someone you don't know and they're part of a couple or, they're just a single woman, it's all about, for me, just reading someone. If you starting to have time when you're playing and they got this facial expression on their face as if, what are you doing? Or if they just blank, I'm like, okay, let me try something else. Let me do something else. For me, playing with couples or, playing with women in general, I always try to talk to a female and get to know them and their personality so it builds chemistry because everybody's different. Don't nobody like being fucked the same. Some women in the lifestyle like being fucked like porn stars. Some women like, to take your time as if you was their husband or something. So it's all about just, getting to know someone, That's what I had wanted to say.
Hey, I agree.
Let me chime in here.
I agree too, but you can't say that. You can agree with it, but you can't say I want to take the come fuck me like a porn star if you're willing to be sensual too. So are you saying you want a chick that's like a porn star, or you want a chick that will just let go? When
I say porn star, I mean the energy she gives. Everybody's sexual energy is different. There's times when we fuck where I'm smacking your ass and choking you, and then there's some times when I'm very sensual and slow. Either way, the energy is the energy. When I say porn star, someone who really gives you that, not just visual, but it really makes you have it really offers that sexuality there. So it's not about how hard or how fast you're fucking. It's about the energy that comes with it. Because like I said before, when you see someone, we all have a mental image. When you see that person that you want to fuck, that tingle that you get in your groin, that's being associated with an image. And to me, when I say fuck like a porn star, how well does that image match the shit that you've talked and the things that you said that you wanted when we actually hit the bed? How true to that are you? So it's not about how hard or how fast you're fucking. It's just the energy that you're putting out when you're fucking.
Okay, thanks.
Bishop?
Yeah, I just want to touch on this quick subject. For me, I always ask the woman straight up how they like to get fucked. So that gives me kind of a direction. Because I don't want to go in there, not knowing. So that's just my thing. But you did touch on, like Demetri did touch on a topic related to this about, the husband coming in and seeing the wife doing some things and she kind of like take a step back because, the husband's looking all crazy. I've been caught in that situation.
We bet.
Hell,
I've been caught in that situation.
I'm pretty sure I caught you in that situation.
You too.
So,
that's going to come with a warning label.
It's kind of unsettling when it happens. But I'm good now because me and my wife are in a good space, and we have been for quite a while. And she gets freaky like that with me. So it was kind of a situation where she was getting freaky with somebody in a way she never did with me. And I'm like, hold up, what the fuck's going on here? So it does happen. You just gotta fight your way through it.
Yeah.
So was it communication as well as the the communication you guys had that brought that to be completely open and the trust factor was there? Like, okay, what she did. Excuse me?
It took time because, some things were said, some things were done that she didn't want to acknowledge happened. She thought I was making it up, and I'm like, why the fuck would I even make this up? Like,
Yes.
I'm not looking for an argument. You know what I'm saying? So it took some time, but we got through it. You know, it was a rough patch after that for a little bit, but yeah, we got through it.
And from that standpoint, that's something that I do believe that most couples go through in some way, shape, or form. I know for my wife, I had to push her to let go because she loves me. She was always concerned that, is he really okay with seeing me do this? Is he really okay with seeing me do this? And don't get me wrong. I mean, like, even before she really let go, she was always an animal in the bed. I mean, she always put a lot of energy into sex, so the average guy couldn't tell that she wasn't wide open just because, we would go to parties and wives would get insecure all the time when she started riding her husband. And, I could tell when she was really letting go, so that to me, that is definitely a thing. So, excuse me. I think that there is sexual communication and then there is sexual comprehension.
Exactly.
And the communication can be a week's worth of communication, a month's worth of communication, or it can be, 15 minutes worth of communication when you're there. And as a guy, sexual comprehension is everything. So when I step into a room, if I'm actually paying attention to this woman, the way her body moves, the way she's looking at me, if I'm really paying attention to her, even though just like Bishop, I'm going to ask her, what are you okay with? What are you comfortable with? It's really my job to pay attention to her body. So saying that, I can honestly say I have not had a whole lot of experiences where I've had bad sex. I can say I have very few experiences where I've had bad sex. What I can say is I've had lots of experience where the sex was not remarkable. And that's just because of the amount of energy that was not coming back. So as a guy, if you can sit back and name loads and loads of time that you've had bad sex, that's because you're giving out lame dick, because you're not paying attention. You're not comprehending her needs at the moment. But now exactly. I can say that, there's a couple of women on this call right now that I've had great sex with, because of the energy they gave. Kenzie Fox is one of my favorite people. So, I don't want to start drooling on my microphone here, but Kenzie Fox, you see her on there. I mean, anyone's ever been around her, that sexual energy, my sweet poison ginger over there, AKA Mrs. Mocha, shit, her sexual energy made me marry her. And I had a real funny experience when I was hanging out with the Foxes last week. They introduced me to one of their friends, and I remember going to the room with her, and I'm having sex with her, and she's whispering in my ear. She's like, yeah, you got some more. You can give me. She's like, you can give me another one. You can give me another. I'm like, I guess I can. I got one more nut. And I came, and then I know shit. Like, I'm getting ready to roll off, and she wrapped her legs around me, and she was like, oh, you got one more for me. Like she's saying it like real low, and the energy in the room was fucking crazy. Listen, the energy was so good. Literally, apparently they're FaceTiming my wife live while I'm fucking her, and I didn't even know it was a camera in the room at the time. And we weren't fucking tearing the bed apart, but it was that sexual energy that she offered, and then also her as a woman having sexual comprehension. She comprehended what I need, and she gave that energy back that kept me excited.
Of course, it's becoming such a mystery that these, the guys, the bulls, as well as the women, they're having this big miscommunication when it comes down to sexual energy as well as sexual limitation. Because, usually after the end of a night of a nice party or whatever, fellow guys get together, they talk. And some tend to be judgy on women and who's good, who's great, who's trash. And I picked up on a few guys who say, oh, well, she couldn't take dick. Well, that doesn't mean that her energy wasn't great. That means you fucking didn't pay attention to her limitations. So you probably broke her and ruined it for the next bull to have opportunity to enjoy energy. Again, it all falls up under the comprehension factor. You have to match her energy. If her energy is high and you try to rival it, great. But if she's giving you her all and now it's not comfortable for her, then that pain factor come into where you're actually trying to hurt her and now you're disrespecting her. So you have to know these cues. It's so many cues about it to where you don't want somebody to say, oh, her sex game is trash unless you look at every corner of that square that's what you two guys are laying in and understand those factors. And then you got to look at yourself because you in that bed with her. So again, it all falls back on you again. So again, like I said, it's very, very touchy, but it needs to be discussed because again, you know how we go. We're here to entertain as well as to educate.
Can I jump in for a second, fellas?
Anytime, it's yours.
Jump in.
First of all, what's going on? What's going on? Thanks for doing this, D. Just my 2 cents. As a guy who spent a lot of time in my youth in clubs and dancing a lot, it's a lot like dancing to me. I mean, if you dance and you get out on the dance floor and you got a good partner, it almost feels effortless. Like Mr. Mocha was saying, the energy. I mean, you're just vibing off of each other's energy and it's got a real good flow to it. And sometimes you get out on the dance floor and she's stepping all over your feet and you stepping all over her feet. You know what I'm saying? Like you're not going to click with everybody. That's just, even if the buildup is there, sometimes, again, like Mr. Mocha said, you're going to have some unremarkable sex. But if you are paying attention, and sometimes those signs may be really, really subtle. But if you're focused and you're paying attention, then you have the potential to make just about every encounter incredible. If you pay attention to those details, like Demetri was saying, when you have the guys that are like, yeah, she couldn't take dick. It's like, yeah, you only tried doing it that one way. I mean, and she wasn't responding to you, but rather than adjust what you were doing, you just kept doing what you were doing. And now she's, probably sore and not feeling good. And it's messed up is dudes walk away from that like it's a badge of courage, like a badge of honor.
Yes.
Yeah, she's sore now. It's like, dude, that wasn't fun for her. I remember, and this was kind of profound to me when this woman said this. There was a woman that came to my parties a lot, and I don't usually play at my own parties. So I saw her at another party and had an opportunity to play with her. And I'm not a metronome dude. What I mean is I'm not, that guy for 30 minutes, just that same pounding rhythm. And so when I was playing with her, I'm fast, I'm slow, I'm deep, I'm shallow, I'm hard, I'm soft. I mean, and she was really enjoying it. And I was like, oh, I didn't really think you would like that because all the guys that I've seen play with you have always been those metronome dudes. And her response was, when you go to these parties, as a woman, when you go to these parties, you learn to just kind of accept that because that's what the guys think that the women want. I mean, and I don't know if it's because of the movies that they watch or what they see online, but to a guy, fucking like a porn star means trying to blow her back out. You know what I'm saying? And she was like, nah, I'm really not a big fan of that. But after a while, it gets tired trying to tell every guy that. And I just thought that was real telling. You know what I'm saying? That she was like, when you go to parties like these, you just expect it because that's how most of the guys are going to do it. So I just thought that was really interesting.
I always wonder, do guys even consider that good sex when all they want to do is pound? Like, is that good to you? Like, does that feel good? I mean, you got to go with there's got to be a rhythm, a rhythm to it. You know what I'm saying?
Honestly,
for a little bit.
I'm with you, brother.
Honestly, I don't even think they know any better. I just think they watched porn, you know, or when they was fucking kids, they was watching Cinemax when the parents was asleep and whatnot. And that's how they learn, because a lot of the guys got to think, a lot of guys don't have fathers, you know, fathers to teach you, hey, this is how you take care of a woman, you know, or this is what you do when you get a woman in the bedroom. A lot of guys don't have that. So, and a lot of times they don't talk, you know, about that to their friends or their homeboys because they kind of embarrassed. You don't ask another dude, hey, how you please a woman, you know, because you do, they're going to laugh you out the room. So I just think, you know, they watch what they see on TV and whatnot, and they just imitate it. You know, that's my take on it. I just think, you know, a lot of the guys don't know no better, you know.
Well, I have to say for myself, I'm up in age where I am not about to break myself to try to break her. I'm not. That be popping and cracking it, bro. I stop in the middle of this shit and pull that shit back together. So
right. What about the ladies?
I have to try to understand. I have to try to listen and just pay attention to her energy as well as her movements, as well as her feedback to me, and respond like that, because it's a response, you know, and again, it's all right with the energy as well. Now, you know, there are some that's like, hey, bring on that Bishop style. Okay, well, look, that's when I tag out, because again, I'm not breaking me to break her.
So wait. First of all, I ain't trying to break
nobody. I knew that was about to happen. So, ladies, can we get some help on this one? This is a bunch of guys talking about how ladies feel when they getting some dick. Can we get some backup, ladies?
I saw Miss Juicy in here. She's fairly new. Let's see what she got to say.
He put her on the spot.
Well, Kenzie jumped on. Juicy ain't jumped on yet. Kenzie, what you got for us?
Hey.
All right.
Kenzie here.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hello.
It's all yours.
Hi. Well, speaking from like experience with a lot of the guys that are speaking on here, you all know what you're doing. You do listen to those cues, and it's very much appreciated. And there is those guys that I do seriously think they just don't know what they're doing. You're right. I completely agree with, I know your real name, but,
Mike at Keys and Anklets.
No, his Twitter name is BBC.
Oh, Chris.
It's cool. It's cool. You can say it.
Oh, okay.
Don't mind.
Chris. Yeah. Anyway, wow. Yeah, you really showed me the other night. You told me I wouldn't regret it, and I didn't.
Okay, I like that.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
But I mean, that's just it. He listened to my cues. Like, you know, I mean, some of you guys are pretty big. If you go too deep, you got to listen that, you know, you can't, you know, you got to wait. You just, women will subtly show you. A lot of them don't want to speak up. I was one of them. I speak up now, but.
Hello?
Kenzie, we lost you.
Or I'll push a hand back on someone's hip, or, you know, wow, you're going too deep. I can't take that right now. And yeah, I don't enjoy like pounding constantly, like the change in the rhythm and all that. But you know, you get the cues from the woman, and you know, I'm a pleaser. I want to please you too. So I want to hear what you like, and hearing what you like actually turns me on. and then you just feed off of each other. I think that we should just get a guy and bounce on his dick for like 45 minutes really hard and show him how it feels.
What'd you say? I missed that. Say it again.
Please don't. Please don't.
What did you get a what?
Oh my God. You know what? That's some bullshit right there.
That won't be necessary.
I thought I didn't hear what I thought I heard. I'm like, wait a minute, hold on.
Yeah.
So Kenzie, I have to ask you this, and this kind of takes us into something else that we said before. As a woman in the lifestyle, do you think that is a real thing that some women don't perform as well as they could, or don't have that same energy that you have, or, you know, Ginger, because they're worried about slut shaming?
In a lifestyle, I've never been worried about that.
Not you. We know you're not. Talking about other women.
Oh, other women. I think they are. I don't understand how they feel that way, because I've found this to be the most accepting group of people I've ever been. 'Cause I've been slut shamed my whole life by women, starting in high school, actually junior high school. Women are horrible. So they may still have that in their heads. Yeah, they're not going to let go. Or I think more than likely, they don't want their significant other to see themselves enjoying someone else so much, because they are afraid of what's going to happen when they go home later.
Yeah, I agree with that. 1,000%. Definitely agree with that. We have experienced that a lot in our lifestyle experience. I mean, this is from the very beginning of our lifestyle experience. I mean, up until current day, you know, we laugh about our experiences. You know, one of our first experiences, you know, we're playing with a couple, and literally, you know, Mrs. Mocha is riding some poor fucker into oblivion, and everything was going good, and then the wife turned her head, and I shit you not, this woman was, with my 230 pounds on top of her body, somehow she was inching both of us over and reaching her hand out so she can touch her husband. She looked like that, you know, the painting where you see the guy with his finger out, and he's like stressed out trying to touch an apple or something. She's like reaching and reaching and reaching. And then that's not what made it bad. We moved over, and her head was like, she was turning her neck. And so I'm like, all right, let me help her out. So I move closer. She reaches out and grabs the guy's hand, and he pulls his hand out of her hand. And she grabs it again, and he pulls his hand out again. That was all over for me. Now, of course, my wonderful wife is totally oblivious to what's happened, and she never slows down. And, you know, she's talking dirty, and she's just going wild, and the guy is just loving his life. And the wife, I could start seeing the tears well up in her eyes. I'm like, fuck. So, needless to say, that night was over, you know, but so I can only imagine that guy, probably if they're still in the lifestyle, because that was the last time we ever saw him. But if they stayed in the lifestyle, I'm sure he did not do that again for a long time. And then it's happened vice versa, where I'm with some woman and her husband is staring at her the whole time, and Mrs. Mocha's like, the guy dick start turning into spaghetti noodle. And, you know, I might have been lost in the sauce over there. I'm not going to lie. So yeah, I was all in. I was committed. I didn't even know what was happening over there. And once I finally look over and look at her face, I'm like, fuck, I'm in trouble for this one. Because, you know, I'm supposed to like slow down when I see when I see the look, like, hey, his shit's not working.
So would that be a factor to where this isn't the Bulls as an individual? This is not his fault that the couple was not in sync with their feelings or what they can take and not take. Even if by all right, you have the right to feel however you want to feel, even if you have the true intentions of being supportive of your wife or your husband, however you choose to make it, and your feelings may change in the middle of the act. That's fine. But it's also your responsibility to not fuck up the energy. You know, you should be able to remove yourself discreetly and respectfully, and don't make anybody feel weird or bad about the situation. Because again, nobody wants to go home feeling like they fucked up something. You know, everybody wants to go home with what they really true call a happy ending. So on a dynamic or a factor like that can be put on the guys as a fault. I just want the guys as well as the Bulls, as like when we talk, to understand when you say, oh, this woman is trash or her fuck game is off or whatever. Like, okay, what did you contribute to that? What communication did you contribute to it? What factor, what energy? Because you're involved in that sexual act in that moment. So those are like the dynamics that you pretty much got to outweigh.
Hey, Demetri, let me ask you a question real quick.
Ask away, my brother.
Hey, so how do you deal with, just deal with a female that, you know, you don't really know, and I know you want to really play with women that you know, but let's just say, hypothetically speaking, if a woman is a starfish, you know, I'm not trying to be mean or anything, but, you know, you have women that really are kind of like that, where they just pretty much lay down in the bedroom. They don't do anything. And for me, like, it's boring. If I'm, you know, going down on you, you know, and I'm, you know, trying to make it a great experience, but you just pretty much just lay there, you know, it's like, what do you do then? Like, how would you handle that situation?
Me personally, as well as all of us, we have two big factors that's our advantage. I'm a talker. I like to talk, and I'm actually strong enough to flip her ass over into another position to where I will have her interact. You know, I would try various amount of things. Now, if it's just not there, like her energy is just completely fucking dead, then I would just like to tell her, like, okay, this is when I remove myself. Obviously, something's wrong with her or going with her, in her, to not try to enjoy or to bring out her energy. So,
a woman with low energy, you know.
Yeah. So, if she don't, you said with low energy?
Yeah, like you were saying, how she don't really have energy in the bedroom. There's no chemistry.
Yeah. If the energy and the chemistry isn't there, you know, I tried different positions. If that's not even there, I tried the vocal factor when I try to communicate and talk to her during the act of sex.
The bigger question is, how did you even end up there if the energy was off?
You know something? I got to defend Chris on this one, because it's when you start off, you get a woman who's talking to you and she's saying she want to do this, that, and the third, and then she gets into the bedroom and she starfishes it. That's where the challenge comes in. Now, if it's just somebody who I just met at an event, that's one thing, because in my opinion, you don't really have enough control and you haven't had enough time to pick her brain. Now, if it's someone who you've been talking to over a period of time where you can have a little more communication, because there are going to be some women who it's going to take more communication to get them going, because I mean, I've met those women who are like, oh, it just takes time for me to warm up. But to go what Bishop said, you know, if you wound up and you talk to this woman and you seem like you got energy and you get into the bedroom and she's just laying there, you know, is this the way you've been taught to have sex? Because keep in mind, fellas, this is the most important thing that you can ever learn about a woman's sex. And I know it's bold for me to say this. Most women have learned what they enjoy from their last sexual partner or their sexual partners. So at that point, going back to getting vocal, I don't have a problem saying, hey, listen, I'm not sure if you're having a good time. Is there anything I can do to make it more fun? And now she goes, oh, no, I'm having a great time. I'm bold enough to say, hey, let's try this. Give me your hands. Put your hands on my head. You know, move back into me. Bounce up and down. Like, at that point, if the situation is because this is just how she's learned sex and what she's used to, if you have a personality that's not afraid to encourage her to do things, I think you can bring something new out of her. Now, if she just goes, oh, no, I'm not going to do that, or no, I don't want to bounce, or no, I don't. Now that's different. And then I'm going with Demetri's route. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and pretty much finish this up, you know, and then that's what's going to make me not want to do this again. I'm going to be a gentleman about it. And I know a lot of women want you to come, and I'm not going to lie. I have faked an orgasm before so I can stop without hurting their feelings. But, you know, usually if you verbally get her involved with stuff, I think that helps that starfish situation.
No, I definitely get what you're saying. For me, this like rarely ever happens. It mostly happens with just random women you meet at a party or whatever. So that's all I want to, you know, anybody else, you know, I get time to know them and there's chemistry, you know. So, yeah.
We got a couple people that jumped in. Ken, I see your hand up, but Mike Trimmer jumped in first. Mike, you want to jump in and say hi to us?
Mr. Mocha, Mrs. Mocha, hi. Hi, everyone else. How's everybody doing?
Life is good, man. Welcome.
Good. I wasn't able to get on the last one. I was at Mocha Fest, which that's a whole nother story. But I'm happy that I was able to jump on here just, I guess, to kind of defend the Bulls for a previous question that was kind of asked in the group in regards to, like, why do some guys kind of seem to, like, go ham at it like it's a porno? I think it comes from, at least from my perspective, but I think it's called like sperm competition or something, like in nature where animals are competing for procreation type thing. So not to get all scientific, but I think that's one of the reasons type of thing. So like a guy, like two bulls might be like, okay, this guy's, you know, 6'2" or something, and I'm only like a 5'9" or something. So I have to go in there to make sure that she's going to remember me over the other guy. I think that's what it is, a subconscious thing.
Yeah, that sounds to me like some rookie shit. I mean, and I only say it sounds like rookie shit to me. Just, you know, me and Bishop and Demetri and Mike, we'll all joke about certain things, but at the end of the day, you know, me and Bishop are we tag team stuff together all the time, and for me, what pushes me to the next level sexually is watching the way he pushes her to her next level. And it's not about the way he pounds her. You know, it's the reaction that she's getting. And so now for me, it's like, if he's doing a thing to her, I would like to get that reaction. So that means that I have to pay close enough attention to her to try to get that reaction. We feed off of each other's energy from one bull to another. Now, I will agree with you. You get some rookie bulls who come in there and they're just jackhammering. And trust me, I hear it from the ladies all the time. There's a certain bull in particular who, you know, my wife was asking some of her close friends about, hey, should I play with this guy? And the response was, I mean, the guy's a fucking jackhammer. So if you just want to get your guts beat up, this is the guy. But if you don't want, you know, 30 minutes of constant pounding. And she happily tapped out of not doing that because, I mean, think about it. It's even as a guy, just imagine some chick grabbed your dick as hard as she could and just stroked your dick as hard as she could for 30 minutes, squeezing the life out of it. I'm not sure about you guys, but my dick wouldn't like that too much. You know what I'm saying? So I can kind of see where the ladies could complain about that. All right,
I definitely like the energy more when it's a male, female, male type dynamic and everything. And I think it was the Michelangelo Sistine Chapel was the picture you were referring to.
Thank you. That's exactly what you're the man. That's what I'm talking about. Gotta have some brains on this thing. I need some extra. I appreciate it. So we got Ken on. Ken's had his hand up for a minute. Ken, jump in and tell us who you are and tell us what you're about and tell us what you're thinking.
Hello, I'm Ken. I am a cuckold wannabe, and I'd like to thank you guys for letting me have the opportunity to speak. And I'd also like to thank all the bulls for just being honest and sharing their perspectives. I'm wondering how much of the reluctance that you experience and the problems that you have communicating come from the fact that the husband and the wife are trying to be on the same plane and not able to do it. And I know that sounds a little convoluted, so let me try to explain it from a different angle. To me, being a cuck is the most authentic way of being submissive, and I'm very submissive, and I want to be very submissive. And cuckoldry feels so completely correct as the way to do it. What I don't want is not to feel included in the process. And sometimes, especially, the Keys and Anklets podcast has been absolutely a blessing to me because it's one of the few places I go where they treat cuckolds seriously. But I wonder how much of it is just the cuckold needs to really feel like he's being cuckolded. And if all that's happening is that his wife is having sex in front of him and he's being forgotten by the bull, he's not feeling like he's part of the process. And that makes it hard for him to communicate with his wife. And that makes it hard for his wife to do what she really naturally feels like she should be doing anyway. And I'm sorry if that was too convoluted. I apologize for that.
Not at all. It's something that we talk about all the time. D?
So let me ask you, how is your direct communication with the bull? Because usually for me in the cuckold dynamic, upon meeting, I talk more with the cuck than with the wife. Just because that's his wife, that's his star, that's his teammate. He know her very well, so he can get more detailed information to make everything comfort. And are you open vividly about your intentions as well as your interactions with the fellow bull to where you go include it or include with the eliminations of your own comfort? So how comfortable are you with those conversations with your fellow bull?
That's an excellent question. I'm a cuckold wannabe. I've attended one cuckold event where I sort of served as assistant butler / whatever. Yes. I felt like I was able to express my admiration and recognition of the hierarchy that was going on there, but I didn't want to be too weird about it. I didn't want it to be too direct and be too much about me. Yes. So I want to be able to express that because I think cuckoldry is actually very natural. And I'd like to, I didn't catch the name of the person who was talking about sperm competition, but I mean, to me, that's really what it is. It's sperm competition and it's victory and defeat, and it's the way that it should be. And so I want to be able to express that, but I also want to know that that's going to be appreciated, if that makes sense.
So just to understand the dynamic, because you were saying, talking about the husband being feeling left out. So in my opinion and in my experience, the only person that has the power to leave the husband out is the wife. All right. If I'm dealing with a couple, just like Demetri said, that's where I'm going to show a lot more caution. I'm going to talk to the husband. I'm going to talk to the wife, but I am an addition to their party, which means they first have to communicate amongst themselves. And I've definitely been in situations where the bull has come and said, hey, I feel left out. And the conversation that I've had with the bull is, or the cuck, rather, the cuck has said, I feel left out. And my conversation to him and to her is, I don't have the power to leave you out, because my job is to pay attention to your wife's pleasure, and your wife's job is to pay attention to your pleasure. So if I've spoken to a couple and they tell me they're dynamic and I'm playing with the wife, and she is the one who's going to give me the cues as to when she wants him to come in, I have stopped playing with couples because between themselves, they start having an issue because she doesn't want him to be included, which means their communication isn't together, because a good bull is not going to exclude the husband. Only the wife can exclude the husband, because at the end of the day, and my wife and I had a conversation with a guy who was upset because the bull excluded the husband. And my thing to him was like, hold on. Your wife's job is to stop the bull if she feels like the bull is attempting to exclude the husband, because all of the bulls aren't going to be experienced or as mindful at or see it as important to exclude him. Her job is to help the bull understand that if he wants the pleasure of her, that her husband has to be included. So that's not really the bull's job. A good bull is going to work harder to make sure that he's included. But just put yourself in the bull's place. If I am having sex with your wife and she's giving me clues that she wants a certain type of attention, you are really being submissive to your wife and her bull. If that's what you like, you're not being submissive to the bull and then your wife. That's the order of things. The wife is going to dictate how much the bull is involved with the cuck during this experience, but the husband and the wife behind closed doors are the ones who are creating this fantasy together and including the bull. So as a cuck, if you ever feel like your wife and the bull is excluding you from this, which I don't think is right, because this is your wife's fantasy or your girl's fantasy and yours, that conversation goes back home and you say, honey, I didn't feel included. We spoke to the bull in the beginning. He said that this was his comfort level, but you didn't allow me into that circle. And that's where that conversation, in my opinion, belongs. Personally.
Let me add something, if I may. One of the things that I enjoy so much about interacting with cuckold couples is, I've often used this metaphor that whenever I deal with a stag vixen couple, to me, it's a lot like playing checkers, in the sense that it's very straightforward and it usually follows a very set path. But when you deal with a cuckold couple, it's a lot like playing chess. Mm-hmm. Like there's so many different varieties that they can be in. Like just from the jump, when I first encounter a cuckold couple, the first question that can pop into my mind is, okay, what's the power dynamic here? Is he only submissive to her, or is he submissive to me through her, or are they both submissive to me? Like it can take on a lot of different tones. And so I think what happens is a lot of guys will oversell themselves. They'll make themselves seem like, oh, I can do that. I've done that. I got experience doing that. And then they get into the situation and they don't necessarily know how to lead, or they don't know how to read the situation to say if they should lead or not. Because I agree with you on some of the things you said, Mr. Mocha, but I'm going to diverge a little bit in that, yes, in some cases, it is up to, the wife to give the bull those cues to know when to engage her husband and things like that. But there are some dynamics where when you get into them, because of the energy that you give off, submission to you for both of them comes very easily and very naturally. And if you don't, as a bull, if you don't know how to read those signs and be able to say, okay, I got the ball in my hands now, I'm running point on this. Like, if you don't know how to recognize when that shift is occurring, then that's when you can have those situations where somebody is feeling left out because you weren't able to read those signs. One of the things that I often say is you can have, as far as bulls and the type of experience that they have, you can have two identical cars. Say, for example, a Ford Mustang. That's a car that everybody has or everybody is familiar with. They look exactly identical, same color, same wheels, same trim, same everything. The only difference is one is an automatic and one is a stick. Now, the person that can drive the stick, if you put them in the automatic, they're going to be fine. But the person that drives the automatic, if you put them in the stick and they don't know how to drive a stick, they're going to have problems. And that's a lot like how I kind of see dealing with a stag vixen couple versus dealing with a cuckold couple. If you're experienced and confident and comfortable in dealing with cuckold couples, then you're going to find that transition to dealing with a stag vixen couple very easy and seamless. but if you're only used to dealing with stag vixen couples and you're not really well versed on dealing with a cuckold couple and all the subtle nuances that can accompany that, when you find yourself in a situation with that cuckold couple, guess what? You're going to burn the clutch out.
Yeah, listen, I'm definitely going to say that goes both ways. Because
That's a great analogy.
If you deal with a guy who's only ever dealt with cuckold couples and they step into a stag vixen couple and make the mistake of thinking the guy's a cuck, you're going to have a problem, But the one thing I did stress is when I was saying that to him, we are talking about less experienced bulls. But then also, ultimately, anytime that there's a hiccup, that means that the couple, the two people who are in a relationship together, they go home, they discuss what went wrong, and they ultimately have control, because control is an illusion. When you step into that scene, yes, as the bull, I may have control over both in the couple, but that scene is temporary. And if that scene doesn't go the way they want it, the way he wants it, they have to go back home to the drawing board, because once again, if you are in a relationship, with the cuck or the wife, they're not feeling that things worked out with the bull. Ultimately, if the bull wants to continue playing with them, it is up to them to come back and communicate that this didn't work. But how many times have you been in a situation where the cuck comes to you and tells you, hey, I didn't feel included. But then you have the wife who is telling you, oh, that was awesome. So that means that those two aren't firing on the same cylinders. And oftentimes it goes back to communication, that lack of communication, because over and over and over, when I was younger as a bull, I would realize that couples weren't communicating, which got me to the point where I realized, okay, control is an illusion. I'm only controlling it during the scene, because when the scene is over, they're going to go home and either they're both going to be happy or one of them is missing out. And so I finally start telling them, you guys need to decide what you want honestly between the two of you, and then you come back and tell me what you want, because oftentimes you will have a situation where the wife really wants one thing, but in order to get this, she's telling her husband, oh, yeah, I want this. Or you get the husband who wants to be a cuck, but he's trying to control the whole situation by playing mental games with the bull and the wife. And he's telling the bull, hey, I want you to do this or this. And the wife is not even on board with that. So ultimately, in my opinion, no matter what, that communication goes back to those two. Because if those two say, hey, this shit's not working out, if the bull really likes this couple, he's going to make necessary adjustments.
I see the plus on both ends.
You got crickets here.
Yeah, no, I mean, hey, that was pretty detailed. I mean, you gotta say it was pretty detailed and deep, and I'm pretty sure all three of you guys just gave everybody something to think about. You know, you did. You know, but just for the record, I can drive a stick in automatic.
Absolutely. And I
Yes, sir.
drive a Mustang too.
Absolutely.
I'm sure all the bulls in here are excellent drivers, and
I can drive a stick.
I want.
Oh man.
I wanted to just follow up real quick, if I could. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
Yes.
So one of the Keys and Anklets podcast has been my sort of go-to since realizing I was a cuck. And there was an episode, all the episodes are fantastic, but there was an episode where one of the bulls said that it was something like the analogy that you just gave, which was that he said you could have two different women, the exact same woman, physically the same, temperamentally the same, sexually the same in every way, but one is married and one is not. And it's much more satisfying to me to fuck the married woman. And to me, that really resonated with me, and it really brought home where I feel like I belong in this. And I guess I want to feel like somehow my being there, my surrendering, my being defeated, my whatever matters to you guys. And I don't know. I don't. First of all, I don't know that it does for most bulls. Maybe most bulls don't really care. It's just it goes with the territory. But if it does, why does it? And what can a cuckold do to augment that? I mean, you guys are so great with the head game. Every single guy who's talked is just clearly knows how to get, knows how to use use language and use thoughts and concepts to dominate. It's very clear. But I'm sort of awkward about this, as you can tell from listening to me. And I'm wondering, like, what is it you like to hear from cuckolds, or do you like to hear from cuckolds at all? Does it gratify you more to know that, yeah, I'm fucking this guy's wife right in front of him, and that makes me feel really good?
Yeah. So Ken, let me ask you a question, because I remember you said you are a wannabe cuck, right?
Yes.
So with that being said, are you fairly new into this dynamic?
Yes, I am.
So, I mean, it seems as if you are trying to find your path or learn as you go to be safe. And are you having like these? Is it more like these are personal conflicts within yourself? Because with the wannabe, it's like you're not sure if you want to be in it, or you sure that you do when you want to embrace it. Like, to get down to the basics, what's your lane of comfort in the cuckold dynamic? Like, where are you trying to be? Are you trying to be fully supportive, or you just want to be in for the experience of just to be there? Like, where's your lane of comfort? Now, your questions are valid. They are very valid. I will say that out of respect. Your questions are very valid. But when you say that you are a wannabe, so now I had to go back to the beginning that you're fairly new. So are you trying to find your lane and discover your true self calling?
I joined the Venus Connections group, and I've been on some dates. I definitely feel like I would be happiest as a cuckold. It's a question of wanting. To me, the one thing I know I don't want is to be cuckolded, like in some sort of dominatrix professional scene. The thing that has a lot of appeal to me is really genuinely being in love with a woman, but she's submissive to men like you.
Yes.
And men like you, play the role that you want to play. And again, it's like I listen to your confidence, and it seems so obvious that you guys are meant for this. and I feel like I'm meant for it too. I just don't, I'm just trying to make it happen, and I'm trying to make sure that I'm doing what I feel like I'm meant to do, and providing what I'm meant to provide. If that makes sense.
Well, it does. But let me stop you there and just give you just some quick notes. If you want to be in this dynamic, first off, you got your head and your heart. They got to be in sync as well as with your wife. But also, you have to fucking own it. You have to own it. You have to embrace it. You got to be fucking proud of that. What you're doing feels right. It feels good. And you don't give a fuck about what other people think about it. You have to fucking own it. See, a gentleman like you would be that guy I will put in the fucking cage and tell you, take your pants off and stand up from a fucking crowd and own it. Be proud of that shit, because it seems like you still have these self-doubts. Fuck the self-doubts. Go through that fucking curtain and be proud and be brave about it. And then these questions and everything you have, which are pretty much self-based and eternal, you have all your answers. But you have to fucking own it. We are here to give you great information, great feedback, our opinions, and everything which we share amongst each other on a daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly. But you have to embrace what you're doing and own it and believe in what you're doing. So I will, and we will, not just me, we will, because we are friends and we are family on this dynamic. We will embrace that, but you have to own it.
And the push on what he's saying about the concept of and the idea of owning it. To answer your question first, does it turn me on as a bull to know that I'm fucking somebody's wife with them watching? Absolutely, it definitely does. But one of the challenges that I have, and I've always had, the things that frustrate me from the standpoint of most cucks, because I know to you, you're saying you're owning it, but when I'm listening to you, you're questioning it because you are asking, Are your fantasies okay? No, the only thing you have to do, everything that we do here, it's a roadmap. You decide what your fantasies are, and then you find a woman that's willing to support you in those fantasies. And I can't tell you what your fantasies and desires are. Are the bulls turned on by fucking somebody's wife? Absolutely. Are the bulls turned on because there's a cuck there who's accepted and enjoys that humiliation? Because at the end of the day, it is a form of humiliation. A lot of people don't like the word, but to me, you own the word. That form of humiliation, it's okay to like it. And you don't have to ask anybody, are your fantasies okay? Because every fantasy that's going through your head, there is someone somewhere that's going to like that fantasy. When it comes to cuckolding can be very mild to very extreme, and you can't do it wrong. The only thing that you can do wrong is not communicate with your partner, and then you and your partner not communicating the fantasy with the bull. You cannot communicate your fantasy and your partner's fantasy with the bull, because if you communicate your fantasy, that means hers isn't a part of it. But if you and your partner communicate your fantasy together first, and then you communicate with the bull, and be honest, there's going to be some bulls out there who you're going to feel like, oh, well, I've got these 10 fantasies, but I'm only going to tell him 3 until I know he's okay with the other 7. Doesn't work like that. You tell him all 10, and then he's going to tell you, hey, I'm not doing this, or this. And you have to decide, okay, I'm okay with that amount. And that's what's going to make you successful. But owning what you want and what you desire, you don't have to ask anybody, is what you like okay? Because I'm not going to ask somebody if what I like is okay. I'll ask somebody, can I do this thing to you? And if she says no, okay, great. I just wanted to find out. We won't do that. We'll do the next thing. And for you, it's the exact same way. That's what he means by owning it.
Thank you very much. That's I really appreciate your honesty.
At the end of the day, you got to live your own truth.
Yes.
That's what we're all doing. We're all living our truth. And we believe in it wholeheartedly. That's why we don't get swayed.
Very factual, my brother.
I will say that it's the one thing that I feel like cuckoldry is true. It seems to be the most no nonsense, honest expressions both of sex and of power that I've ever come across. And I really do appreciate you guys a lot, and I thank you for letting me speak.
Anytime, my friend.
I got a question for Mike. A little off topic. So, Mocha Fest, yay or nay?
Weren't there two mics in here?
Yeah.
The mic speaker.
Oh.
Yeah. You there?
Yeah.
So, I don't want to come off as biased. I would say that I guess I was naive in thinking that it was going to be more lifestyle people there. I think they were mainly there for kind of like the headliner events more so than the lifestyle. Because I stayed at the Hito Resort and everything, and they had what was it? Like some of the parties were over in that area, and I think they might have had one actually on the premise, but. As far as like the playrooms at the resort, it really wasn't that active, and I think it was because more of the people were there for Mocha Fest, and they were vanilla style.
Oh,
yeah.
Appreciate the info, man.
Oh, so you weren't talking about Splash Mocha. This Mocha Fest is something different?
Yeah, the names are so similar. That's what I thought as well. It's slightly different. It's definitely not Splash Mocha. Mocha Fest. They do them in Jamaica and they do them in Mexico. But what threw me off, which is why I thought it was like Splash Mocha, is because they do them at some of these resorts. I guess they're sponsoring them and stuff like that. But it's more so like a hip hop concert type thing.
Oh, okay.
oh.
So it's got nothing to do with the lifestyle.
No, but there were, like I said, there were some people that were there that were in the lifestyle, but just obviously
they probably got confused too. It's like, wait a minute.
Oh, boy.
Wait a minute.
Where's the beach? I want my money back.
Yeah, like, wait a minute. I didn't come to see nobody on stage. That's the kind of show I was looking for.
I said, I definitely want to get back stateside. That way I can actually go to a Splash Mocha event and everything.
Well, sad to say, my brother, July is sold out. I have little space left for August, and I'm pushing Houston in November.
Selling like hotcakes, brother. Selling like hotcakes.
I try to tell these guys, and I try to tell these couples, once they post up, you have a 1 to 2 week window, and then from there you're on the waiting list.
No lie.
So, there's nothing I can do after that.
No, they're definitely selling out faster. That's for sure.
Oh, of course, very, very big on that. Again, it's not just, the whole staff, the team, the hotels, it make one nice big bowl of soup that we all like, and we tend to keep eating from that same bowl. So why change the recipe? Just keep going to a different location, spreading the brand. And I'm all about it. But, I think this conversation was needed long overdue. And I thank Chris for bringing that up.
No, you appreciate it, man. You appreciate it.
Anything else you want to add?
No. It was a great conversation. We hit on a lot of topics and everything like that. I think people got educated more. I think, people learned from other people's experience or, heard from other people what they have to say because, we all have different experiences and everything. So, I'm good.
No, that's fine. I want to also personally thank Ken for joining on to the podcast as well. And if you have any questions or concern to curb your comfort, my brother, we are all here. You know, we're all seasoned, certified, verified, how you want to look at it in this dynamic, and we are here to help you.
Thank you very much. That goes very appreciated.
You're more than welcome.
And I just want to say hi to Ginger Fire.
Wait, is Ginger on here?
I'm looking down there. I see it right there. Oh, there she just said hi.
Yeah, I see her.
I was talking about her earlier.
Yeah, I hope you're feeling better, beautiful. I'll bring you a bowl of soup, give you a booty rub.
Me too. 4 hands are better than 2.
I tried to get Miss Juicy to jump in, to say a few things since she's starting new. Next time, to be continued. But yeah, hold on.
I definitely think this is a good conversation. I think communication is the thing that's lacking the most. And I think, you know, as fellas, we don't really get on and talk about, you know, things like the experiences that we have. You know, ladies will always hear us talk about, you know, all the great sexual experiences that we've had, but there's still a lot of ladies out there who just, for whatever reason, you know, have a hard time, you know, being able to get multiple dates with guys who they really like. And, you know, there's a variety of reasons that we can talk about. And it's not an attack on the ladies. It's, you know, usually we get on here as the fellas and we talk about how we can make better experiences for the guys. But, you know, the lifestyle is really a female run lifestyle. And, you know, I have the privilege of listening to, you know, or, you know, sitting down there while they're recording Dirty Girls Corner and listening to a lot of behind the scenes conversations with the ladies. And, you know, obviously the ladies that my wife run with usually don't have an issue because they're all wide open and they're wild and they're very, very sexual creatures. But I hear other women ask them, or I see the messages that my wife get from other women who are saying, you know, why can't I get, you know, multiple play dates with guys? Why is it that, you know, I'm not really able to enjoy the lifestyle on a certain level? And really, that question is really a question that should be directed toward, you know, guys who are willing to be honest. I mean, obviously you don't want to necessarily ask the guy you're fucking because it might hurt your feelings, you know, unless you're bold enough to. But, you know, we're happy to get on and answer some of those questions. So, you know, if you ladies have questions, you know, feel free to shoot us messages. You know, there's, you know, most of the guys who are on here, whether it's Demetri, Bishop, Mike over at Keys and Anklets, you know, there go John Legendary. What's up, John? You know, we all roll in a real tight circle and we all, you know, have these conversations amongst ourselves all the time. And one of the things that, you know, I've committed to, that Demetri's committed to, that, you know, Mike at Keys and Anklets is committed to, is answering the questions, but answering them very candidly and honest, you know. And I think that even though I know sometimes the fellas tell me, and my wife told me I come across a little direct, you know, I feel like I would much rather tell the truth and share those conversations that we have behind closed doors that a lot of ladies are never privy to, you know, so you can actually get insight into the mind of the guys that you want to have sex with and the guys that you want to consistently play with, you know, as opposed to the guys that some ladies keep dealing with. And I can hear behind the scenes that, you know, they're dealing with clowns or dealing with these inexperienced bulls, or they're dealing with, you know, guys who don't have good sexual communication and comprehension skills. So, you know, we like to get on here and tell you how you can take a little more control, because control is an illusion and ladies control the lifestyle. I mean, that's just what it is.
I mean, if there's one thing I can say before you get out of here, and this, I guess, is directed to any woman that is listening to this, and, you know, Kenzie spoke on it a little earlier, and that is, if you're playing with somebody and the dude is not doing it for you, it doesn't seem like he's reading your cues, reading your body, listening to you, don't hesitate to speak up. You know what I'm saying? Like, use your voice. You know what I'm saying? Don't just lay there and let him finish. If you're not getting out of the experience what you want out of the experience, say something. Because if you don't, that guy's going to walk away thinking he put in work. And then the next woman is going to have to deal with it, because each time that happens, he gets more and more emboldened thinking that he's doing the right thing. So somebody's got to check him and school him and let him know. And I'm not saying you got to be rude about it, but however you choose to handle it, speak up and let him know, hey, I'm not a nail. You're not a hammer. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is not how I like it. So I just wanted to say that before we got out of here.
No, you are absolutely correct. By the way, I'm Juicy. Not new to the lifestyle, just new to all of y'all.
Welcome, Juicy.
Thank you. Demetri
Heard a lot
knows
about
me
you.
very well. Well, I'm hoping it was all good.
Oh, it was good. I'm smiling when I say it.
Well, that makes me blush a little bit. No, as far as parties go, I've been in situations, and Demetri has seen it multiple times with me, that if I'm uncomfortable with something, I will be very polite, make an excuse, and get up and leave. I'm not going to sit there and let some guy try to break my back. I will even make a joke like, man, you break it, you buy it. And try to get him to understand you need to ease up. Because not everybody's made for 12 inches or 8 inches or, these big ass fucking Loch Ness monster dicks. Not everybody's built that way.
Thankfully.
Right? I like to walk normally the next day.
Well, I mean, listen, we appreciate that. And Mike has a great point, and if you're dealing with, you should be able to deal with a guy who you can honestly just say, and that's something that I really had to teach my wife when, we go to parties and she'd be like, oh my God, that guy just killed me. And I'm like, why are you letting the guy fucking kill you? Tell him he's killing you. Tell him to go easy. If he can't take you saying that you're not enjoying it, then he doesn't deserve the pleasure of your body, because that's what you're there for. And if he's too sensitive, he definitely don't get to enjoy the pleasure of your body.
Plus, a woman's pussy goes dry if it doesn't feel good. So guys really should pay attention to that.
Yeah.
If we're tensing up, we're moving away from you, we're breathing real sharp and heavy, but it's not sounding, very enticing and erotic, stop, ease up, back off. You're obviously not doing it right. Or ask her what she wants done and then go about it that way. And if you have an ego problem, then just stop and leave. You don't need to be there.
Yeah.
Duly noted.
Yeah. So I'm glad we finally got one, ladies. And I see Ginger there as speaker. I haven't heard her voice. Well, I've heard her voice, but I haven't heard it today.
Hey there. Can you hear me?
Oh, we can hear you. How are you?
I'm just sitting here listening like I usually do.
Okay. I'm glad you got on. I was talking about you earlier.
I heard.
This was.
I'm doing good. So here's what the funny thing is, and I've been debating whether to say this or not. It's taken me, and some of you know me to varying degrees, but none of you on this call really know my wild side. Because that's not a challenge. That's not a challenge.
I got your address now.
Oh, me too.
No, it's not, and it's not because my husband, he's like, he's been trying to encourage me for years, but just my upbringing and my corporate life, like if I want to be really naughty, I'll go somewhere where no one knows my name.
Well, I'm gonna forget your name. Because if you're not wild, I'm afraid to see you wild. not sure if I'm rated for that level of wild.
Oh man, I tell you.
So from a woman's standpoint, before we get out of here, what do you consider, number one, a good sexual experience? And if you do wind up with a guy who's not giving you what you need, what do you do? Do you just take it or do you tap out?
You know, I've answered that question differently now than I would have in probably even a few months ago. I'm an energy person. I've been a yogi for like 20 years. I feed off someone's energy. To me, it has to be great sex. Otherwise, why are we even doing it? Right? So it has to be mutual too. And if I'm not getting it and I can see that they are, I'll try to like maneuver and at some point I'll try to make a diplomatic exit. But it's an evolving process. I mean, to me, sex is like at least 50% mental, right? At least 30% technique and maybe 20% equipment.
Nice.
Oh, I ain't looking like that.
I like that. I like that. So that means you guys who are walking around there with dicks down to your ankle, just because it's that big doesn't mean that it's going to be pleasurable.
Oh yeah, and there are some guys who they just like to tear the pussy up. That is what gets them off. And I finally told them, like, we're never going to play. We are not compatible.
I like Juicy. She said, if you break it, you bought it. I like that.
That's funny.
I'm sorry, just to throw this in a little movie reference, but what she just said, that it just reminded me of that scene in Harlem Nights where Eddie Murphy saw Jasmine Guy and came back to Rich, and Rich was like, "How was it?" And Eddie was like, "She's dead," and Rich was like, "Beat the pussy up, huh?"
That's funny. That is funny.
He was like, "Nah, she's really dead."
Classic, man. That's classic. Yeah, they don't know what you're talking about. YouTube that shit.
He was like, "How was it? She's dead." "Oh, beat the pussy up, huh?"
He was open his eye.
Well,
all
listen.
right, Mr. Chris, if you're here, you know it's that time.
Oh shit! I'm trying to figure out what time that is. It's almost my bedtime now. I gotta get up and get to work.
But we about to wrap it up. I think it's on you to wrap it up, though, Chris.
Okay, well, hey, I hope everybody, learns something from this and, continue to grow as a person, as an individual, in the lifestyle or in your regular, life.
Well, we appreciate you jumping on today. Ladies, we appreciate you jumping on, talking to us. It's very important for us as guys to get your feedback too, because, like I said, the women get to run the lifestyle. I see one of my favorite people on there, Megan. I know she can't talk because she's probably being a good mom right now with headphones in her ear listening to some dirty shit. That's why we love her. I mean, my sweet wife was on earlier, but, I think she's upstairs getting ready to crash and burn on us. Besides that, fellas, thank you. Demetri, I love when we get to do this. Everybody go check out Keys and Anklets. Mike's always doing something good. I actually got to do an interview, Mike, on his podcast for his, was it 4th year anniversary, Mike?
Yeah. Yes, it was, my man. Yes, it was.
That was a good episode. If you want to know a little bit more about Mike and how he got into this thing and his origins, go ahead and listen to that. And, Bishop, that's one of my road dogs. We do a lot of damage together. He does the damage, I don't really do the damage. He breaks it, and I try to see if I can put the pieces back together.
Got jokes.
You know, just so y'all know, I always fuck with him because every time he in town or every time we in town, my wife is trying to attack him, and I had to tell him, like, look, man, you can't be fucking my wife that good, okay? You need to tone that shit down, because then I got to deal with it later, okay? So I give him a hard time whenever I can.
It's all love. It's all love.
Don't worry, ladies. He's not gonna kill you. He one of the superstars out there. You know, you got the guys that'll take care of you on here.
You know, just to close it all out again. It's always our beginning and our ending to entertain you guys as well as educate you guys. And if you have anything, any topic specific that you want to share with us, hey, you can inbox us or DM, however you want to do to get your point across. We are here to keep it going. Till next time, everybody. Love you guys and good night.
Good night, everybody.
Peace.